everybody, Miss Trish here with another episode of Coffee Chronicles. Now I know what you're thinking. It's not quite coffee, Trish. I know, guys. Again, when you see me with a wine glass in my hand with a little substance, it just means that's not coffee. It just means that it's been a day, it's been a week. Miss Trish needs a drink. I hope you do too. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite cup, put whatever you want in it, and let's start this episode of Coffee Chronicles. I'm doing this Coffee Chronicles standing up today. Normally, I used to be behind my background standing up, and I'm like, you know what? I feel like standing up today. So I'm doing this Coffee Chronicles standing up today because I wanted to emphasize that standing up feels better. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I hope that everybody is doing a good. October is giving summer weather here in Montreal, Canada. Now, I don't know where you are watching from, but normally our Octobers consist of winter jackets. We start wearing them this early, but for some reason, we're not this last 2 days. So anyways, I hope that everybody is doing great, doing well, doing what they're supposed to do, happy, at peace, and all that good old stuff. But let's get started. A couple of weeks ago, I did a video called Instinct versus Fear. However, it was a very quick reel because I decided that I'd do a larger episode on the differences between the two. So here it is. I know that sometimes we feel the feelings of something here in our stomach or a bad vibe or a bad energy, and immediately we always think right away, that's my intuition and I'm right and I'm going to go on it. And guess what, guys? That's not always true. Intuition and fear have a tendency to feel the exact same way, and I'm going to break down the differences for you. Every human being experiences intuition and fear differently, but there are some common denominators in the two. But you should also know the difference so that you don't make any sudden decisions on a whim. Let me break down what the differences are. I'm going to start with fear. The reason why I start with fear on this episode of Coffee Chronicles is because it's the one that actually takes over more if you really think about it. So here are what fear feelings feel like that you may mix up for intuition. So fear, it thrives in busyness. It's always busy in your head. It's always going. That's the first thing. Number two, you're always overthinking the scenario, making different scenarios out of the outcome. Number three, another thing that happens when you're experiencing fear and mixing it up for intuition is you always think worst case scenario, so that you won't get hurt. That's another thing. And another thing with fear is it rejects change. So let's just say, you have a feeling about something and it's like, maybe it's to change me, or maybe it's to adjust something in my life. If you reject that, that's another portion and feeling of fear, not intuition. You cannot confuse the two. And lastly, it makes you think absolutely insecure of yourself and low self-esteem. And it just kind of brings you down, the fear, because you start thinking such negative things. And it sits on your head for a while because, again, it goes back to the overthinking factor. So that is fear. It comes in strong. It never leaves. It keeps playing and playing and playing in your head. And there's no sense of peace when it comes to fear. So that's how you know that is your fear over your intuition. Those are some of the points. Let's go to intuition now. Intuition, the positive parts. All right. So intuition feels like this. It's calm. It's steady. You're at peace. There is clarity. Everything that you see kind of relates to this in the most positive way, because if it starts relating to it in a negative way, and you perceive it like that is fear. There's also a clear directive as to what you want to do when it comes to your intuition. So you'll know right away, this is for you. This is actually happening. This is actually real. You'll be out of your comfort zone, but in a good way. So that's another thing. See, fear, it rejects that comfort, out of your comfort zone thing. Intuition, it embraces your comfort zone. They're out of your comfort zone, like a different aspect, a different thing. Remember I said it's all about like not wanting to change when it comes to fear. No. Intuition's like, I could probably embrace this change. No problem. And you also start to feel a level of higher intelligence, a higher level of growth within yourself. And it's also led with your heart. That's how you know for sure. That's one of the biggest things with intuition, your heart more or less leads you, and everything starts to really fall into place. And lastly, you don't have that feeling of, okay, maybe, like, that uncertainty. No, intuition is more certain, and it's not a level of you convincing yourself. It just comes naturally, the intuition. You understand what I'm saying? You don't overthink, and that's the difference between, again, fear and intuition. When it's fear, you overthink to convince yourself of something. When it's intuition, it's just natural. It's just already there. So you don't make the mistake between the two, because it can lead you down a path of self-destruction. That's the first thing. Secondly, intuition, you know that you're going to a better place and you feel it within your heart and soul, but you have to get to that level within yourself too, where you can feel it in your heart and soul. So you have to recognize those feelings as well. So those are the differences that I have come to jot down and discover within myself. I wanted to explain the difference between these two, because you always see memes and quotes about vibes and energy doesn't lie, things like that. And that's very true. But I find that it's really important to know the difference between these things before we go making sudden, rash decisions that can actually ruin our lives. Let me tell you, I have gone off of what I thought was intuition, and it was actually fear, and like screwed up things 100% for myself in my business, that is, you know what I'm saying? But it's good to know the difference so that you don't really do that and do that all the time. And you also have to be, again, well connected with yourself, to know when you're actually making a mistake. You know what I'm saying? And kind of learn the difference between the two and your mistake, and what you can learn from your mistake. Yes, sometimes, again, we're going to go out, we're going to make these mistakes thinking that the intuition is really our fear, or vice versa, or the fear is really intuition. You know what I'm saying? And we can learn from that. But sometimes it's okay to avoid mistakes, no? So my Miss Trish-eries who watch me and stuff like that, again, make sure you know the difference between the two before you do anything. It's very important for your life. It's very important for any decision that you make. It's very important for your future. Make sure you know the difference, and you just don't go out on a whim. Sometimes going out on a whim is the best opportunity of your life, but then it can also ruin your life. So you really don't want to do that. And I'm always trying to educate and protect and have people learn from my mistakes, because I'm a human being too, right? So anyways, folks, this was this episode of Coffee Chronicles. If you like my t-shirt, darling, you can definitely get it on my website at www.allthingsmisstrish.com. This reads Genuine Over Jealousy by your girl, Miss Trish. Oh yes, and I have more merch coming. The holidays are coming up. I definitely have some more wine, for you guys coming up soon, and a lot of printables, coffee, water, more documentary stuff. Stay tuned, more books. Oh my God, you guys are going to be so happy. If you like my content, you know what to do. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel at Miss Trish TV. You could also catch me on TikTok at Miss Trish TV, and my Instagram at All Things Miss Trish. I would like to thank you guys for watching this wonderful episode of Coffee Chronicles, and I will see you guys again soon. Take care.